Human beings constantly work for progress in all areas of life. We expand the boundaries of our understanding of the cosmos with telescopes and the boundaries of the microcosm with microscopes. Now we are working to expand the venue of the tool that makes all other progress possible, the human intellect. Hello and welcome to Matter and Beyond. I'm your host, Flora Wells. Today we will look at the world of computers, robots, and artificial intelligence. We will meet Dr. Anne Forrest, who is one of the researchers who worked with MIT's AI labs. She had the unique position of contributing her spiritual insight to the creation of human android projects such as Kismet and Cogs. Today she will share her insights with us on the relationship between the search for spiritual meaning and the interest in artificial intelligence.
The beginnings of artificial intelligence reach back to the 18th century with René Descartes and his effort to reduce the animal's movement to mathematical formulas. Since then, AI has experienced slow and incremental development with a surge in technology during the 1990s and the early 21st century. Some scientists are now at a point in which they believe they are on the verge of creating human-like intelligence in a machine. They hope to enable these machines to demonstrate the flexibility, creativity, and ability to learn from interactions that are characteristic of human beings.
They have been very successful in creating machines that are very good at one specific task, like Deep Blue beat Kasparov in chess, right? But what they were entirely lacking was what we humans are very good at, the capability to improvise, and especially the capability to be in this world, to navigate, to interact, to balance. I mean, simple bodily tasks.
According to Dr. Forrest, in order to achieve true-to-life functioning as a human, a robot must be treated as a person. This is the underlying reason behind building humanoid robots. Two such robots are Cogs and Kismet of MIT AI labs. They are given qualities that encourage us to interact with them.
What I find fascinating about the technologies Cog and Kismet that I've been involved in, that they are so fundamentally communal, right? They react to facial expressions, they have their own facial expressions, so they're really, you interact with these kinds of technologies via social nonverbal cues.
Simply observing humans does not help robots to overcome current roadblocks in AI. Learning from people requires an active interaction between humans and robots. As a result, the AI community shifted its task from reason-driven projects to interaction-driven projects.
So it's not your rationality, your language that interacts with those technologies, but your gut. And what I found when we actually explored how Kismet interacted with human beings, or better, that's how human beings interact with Kismet, that they all fell in love with it.
Emotions and interest combine to complete an interaction. Just as we limit our interaction with people who do not show interest and emotional connection to us, robots will also limit their interaction with disinterested parties. Consequently, for a proper interaction to occur involving a robot, it must imitate emotions.
I'll give you a good example from science fiction, Star Wars. R2-D2 versus 3CPO, right? 3CPO, this beautiful humanoid robot that speaks with this wonderful upper-class British accent, right? All this kind of great. Then R2-D2, who doesn't even speak, who always makes sounds. Who is more adorable? Everyone would vote for R2-D2. Why? Because, after all, he is 3CPO speaking wonderfully British and, like us. No, because R2-D2 is emotional. And we like emotions because that's something we can empathize with.
The process of developing humanoid robotics can actually help us as a society to remember things that are important to humanity, such as community and the subtler qualities of communication.
And I think one thing that we learned by building those robots is how emotional and how communal human beings really are. Because we wouldn't react so strongly to those robots if they weren't so fundamentally emotional. So actually, what I find profound is that AI, at least this kind of AI, can teach us something about our own nature that we have forgotten. That it can teach us something about the value of emotions, of nonverbal interactions, of community, that we have forgotten to see as relevant.
New directions also bring new controversies. Religious communities often see AI as a threat to the uniqueness of human beings. The public mind also absorbed some of the science fiction community's prediction of apocalyptic wars between humanity and robotic fleet. The second half of our program offers assurance that these fears will never materialize if we hold on to the values that are dear to us.
The concept of AI is almost as controversial as cloning. People don't know what to expect. In many religious traditions, it is considered blasphemous and a threat to humanity for people to try to take the role of the creator. To create anything that is claimed to be equal to humanity is unmentionable.
Now he has AI and actually says, look, we are building an artifact that is not even natural, that consists of silicon, is run by electronics, has nothing in common with a natural being, and yet it is as smart as you are, as good as you are. Now that's the ultimate threat.
Dr. Forst's perspective on this dilemma is unique and appeals to the depth of our humanity to deal with something that is not essentially human. She asserts that with the right perspective, a threat can become a celebration. Since God is the creator of all, human creativity is celebration of God's creativity. Instead of viewing the research on artificial intelligence as anti-God, she views it as a recognition of the greatness of God.
It kind of says, okay, we are created in the image of God, so we participate in God's creativity because God is the creator of all. Now, whenever we are creative, we celebrate God in us. Whenever we are creative, we celebrate God's creativity in us. When we recreate ourselves, the most complex beings in the universe, we celebrate God the most. Hence, the building of artificial creatures is service, is prayer. And what I found intriguing was that I found exactly that true at MIT.
Along with the resistance to imitating the creative power of the divine, there is the awareness that we don't have enough control over the outcome of these machines in order to feel safe from them.
Because those machines are so complex, we cannot control them. You know, I mean, they do things we have not foreseen. They do things we don't even understand. I mean, you know, the classical prejudice, oh, a machine can only do what you put in. That is, of course, long overhauled. It's old-fashioned now because machines do all the time things we couldn't even begin to understand, right? And I think it's a lot about control.
Dr. Forst questions the necessity of control itself rather than working on ways to better control the outcomes. A person's self-confidence is key in producing this attitude. She illustrates this notion with an example of child development.